Well, good morning and happy Monday, and welcome to the day after Super Bowl. A little bleary-eyed? Did you take the day off? You know, in news, we always talked about how this should be a holiday. I think President Trump needs to push for that. He was at the Super Bowl last night. He's probably a little tired. Interesting to see President Trump have a thunderous applause when he showed up at the Super Bowl. And we'll talk about which celebrity was booed and gave a little side eye, very surprised by the booing, by people coming out and supporting her on X and other social media. We're going to talk about all of that. Everybody talking today about the day after Super Bowl, as well the commercials, the halftime show. We'll discuss it all, and why when we say pennies from heaven and a penny for your thought, I think we're going to have to change that mentality. What's going to happen to that particular coin? That's some of the stuff that we'll give you in the news you can use. But here locally, Missouri, Illinois, to the south, the north, the northwest, we're all going to talk first about the weather and winter weather that is headed our way. You're fine today. It is chilly, so grab the coat, and I don't think you're going to release that coat today. But what's coming Tuesday and Wednesday? I'm not the one that's going to tell you. Let's go to our aspiring meteorologist in a segment that we call What the Weather?
Good afternoon and welcome back into this new More Weather Forecast video. Have a great day, St. Louis. Stay prepared out there. I can't hear. All right. I think I'm just going to do the forecast.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, yeah, I can hear you now. All right. So looking at the current conditions right now, we got a temperature of around 24, dew point at 15, and that wind coming out of the northeast at 3 miles per hour. So that wind pretty calm right now. Now looking at the hour-by-hour forecast, it's going to be another cool day today, only getting in to the upper 30s as we head later into the afternoon. By lunchtime in the mid 30s, around 35 to 36 degrees with cloudy skies. So looking at tonight's forecast, cloudy at 5 p.m. We keep those clouds throughout the night into the overnight hours, and looking at mid 30s this evening as well. And then looking at tomorrow's forecast, 8 a.m., 33 degrees and cloudy, keeping those clouds throughout the day tomorrow, getting to 37, 38 by 4 p.m. Now, we're going to be talking about some snow into Tuesday, as well as into Wednesday. So we're watching two snow chances here in the St. Louis area. The first snow chance is going to be the lesser one, expecting pretty small impacts here in the St. Louis area. As you can see from this snowfall map, less than an inch. So a trace to an inch here in St. Louis. Really all we're expecting is a couple snow showers. If we don't even see a flake of snow, I really wouldn't be surprised. So this isn't that bad for St. Louis, but as you head farther south towards Cape Girardeau, that's where you could see around 1 to 2 inches. But overall, travel impacts will be minimal. But now looking at the confidence for heavy snowfall. So we're talking about 4 or more inches with that Wednesday system. It's high as you head into Pike County, all the way towards Kansas City, into parts of northern and north central Missouri. Medium as you head along I-70 towards Jefferson City, Columbia, and then low in St. Louis. So we could still see maybe 2 to 4 inches of snow, but I don't think we're going to see heavy snow because temperatures are going to be a little bit too warm, may see some sleet. So around 2 to 4 inches of snow and sleet, but not ready to give out that amount forecast yet. But overall confidence is low in heavy totals. Still, though, could definitely see some travel impacts on Wednesday. And then finally, looking at that 7-day outlook, 39 is our high today, mostly cloudy skies. Going into tomorrow, 36. Of course, 50% chance of snow. The higher amounts will be to our south of 1 to 2 inches. And then heading into Wednesday, of course, that's when we have a larger chance of snow, 100% chance of wintry mix, so snow and sleet. And then looking on past that, it does get pretty cold Thursday, Friday, 30s and 20s, and then warming up just a bit for your Saturday with a rain chance of 80%, and then getting back down into the 30s on Sunday.
This is really what we're worried about. By the time we on Thursday, are you expecting that to still be sticking around? You think the crews are going to have a hard time because of how cold the temperatures are?
Yeah, it's going to get into the teens overnight Wednesday, so definitely going to be seeing problems with that sticking around Thursday, yes.
Monica's show. It's very informational, but more importantly, inspirational.
People such as myself and others can come out and talk about real issues that are taking place in our communities.
These are amazing, really, really important topics that don't get discussed enough.
It really just promotes people who are making change and doing good in their lives.
Monica's show. It's very informational, but more importantly, inspirational.
People such as myself and others can come out and talk about real issues that are taking place in our communities.
These are amazing, really, really.
He wants to say, I can't believe I took your son's life. I don't know what I was thinking. I have so much regret and remorse. I've changed my life. Would you accept that apology?
I've never thought of that. Yeah, I would.
Do you think, because you talk about forgiveness, do you think that you all can ever forgive one another and come back together?
It wasn't just right. I'm not perfect. Just because my name is Bush, I don't have it all figured out. And I think they know that too.
I was cyclically depressed, so I could be the happiest person you ever met at 11 a.m. I could be on cloud nine, and by 7 p.m. that evening, I'd be sitting on a couch with a gun in my hand. I mean, hard not to get emotional. I
Never feel sorry for being emotional.
I really, I was at a space to where I couldn't believe that I had brought my children into this.
Where's the light? Because many of you probably feel that there's this darkness and there's this thunder cloud that's constantly over you. This family has dealt with so much.
Our journey is our journey. There has to be purpose in this pain. There has to be something more powerful. I have to find something to be blessed about every day. I have to count my blessings and have gratitude every single day.
He wants to say, I can't believe I took your son's life. I don't know what I was thinking. I have so much regret and remorse. I've changed my life. Would you accept that apology? Do you have me in the source? And welcome back. Let's see if you can hear me. The day after Super Bowl Sunday, and kind of like last Monday. Does it feel like a Monday? All of you that are on right now, and I've got my team behind me, tell me if you
What's up, y'all? Steve Viewing over here, and I'm hanging out with Monica Adams on the Monica Adams Show. It was awesome to be able to come in here, talk about what we do, and really kind of have some positive things to say about our city, about St. Louis, all the really cool things happening here. Such a great environment here, and I love her energy, and I love the energy she puts into telling these stories about the really cool things happening in our city. Thanks, Monica, for having me on the show. This was amazing. I get to talk about all my good stuff, and you get to give them that energy, which I love. So thank you very much.
Discover your full potential with a personalized styling experience. Designing, customizing, and transforming the looks of men and women. Revamp your individual style and embrace what makes you, you. That's real confidence.
All right, folks, I'm going to say welcome back again. I am laughing at all of your comments about I'm not a good lip reader. I got to give major props. I don't know what the actress's name was at the Super Bowl last night, but she did a wonderful job during the national anthem and America the Beautiful, etc., as they were doing the sign language. So I think I need her this morning to be right here for all of you. Tell me, and I know you're going to have to type fast for me, tell me if you can hear me now. My director, Zach, is looking at a couple of technical issues that we had. And I'm hoping that I will stay with you because we've got one heck of a show that we prepped for today. Besides recapping the Super Bowl, talking about the weather, you did hear Beckett, I believe. So at least you got what is one of the most important things that's heading our way for Missouri and Illinois, which is the snow. And again, it's the timing of it all. And it's the area of where you live. To the north, to the west, going to get more snow. To the south, we're going to get a little mixture, maybe sleet, maybe some freezing rain, maybe some snow. That's all not good news when we're talking about cold temperatures as well. Now we hear you. Third time is a charm. Thank you, Linda. Yay. Good morning. I'm glad you can hear me. I really want to bring Beckett back, but I know he's got to head off to school probably. Jill, I'm so sorry that we didn't get a chance to talk. Can we show the picture, though, of how cute it was? Because Beckett and I are huge animal lovers. And last night, about 9 o'clock, Jill showed me this picture of Beckett watching the Puppy Bowl, which I honestly believe was probably more entertaining and more eventful. I watched a little bit of it, and congratulations to one of the organizations from St. Charles, because there were some puppies that were featured in the Puppy Bowl. They were already adopted, but it was cool to see everybody talk about these adoptable animals during the Puppy Bowl. So it was pretty cool to watch that a little bit before. Now, I went to our Super Bowl party. Let me know if you hosted or if you went to one. Here's the thing. Did you stay for the entire Super Bowl, or did you leave like my husband and I? There was 2 minutes left in the third quarter, and Jim was like, I got to get up early. You got to get up early. Let's go. You could see and hear Beckett. Linda, thank you so much. I'm glad, because it was very important that you hear and see. I wanted to interact with him a little bit more, but hopefully we'll get the actual third time of him showing up with me here at this new location, and that'll be a charm on Friday. So here's the deal. Did you stay for the entire game? For anybody that paid $18,000, $20,000, $35,000 for a ticket, really? You're today licking your wounds going, oh my gosh, especially if you're a Kansas City fan and you paid that much money. Just crazy. We wanted to do a little recap, and then I want you to be interactive with me. Tell me what you found to be the favorite memorable moments or forgettable moments, which you're hoping is for those of you that are Kansas City Chiefs fans. Did you expect that? No way. I mean, the odds had it at 1.5 point difference. Well, that was obviously not the case. If you didn't watch the game, though, and you woke up and you're seeing the score this morning, which was 40-22, you look at that and think, well, that's not too bad. Yes, it was 34-0 at one point. And we were talking a pick six very early on. We're talking turnovers. We were talking interceptions. I mean, they had Patrick Mahomes' number. Jalen Hurts, what a perfect name. He hurt the Kansas City Chiefs massively. Mahomes and Travis Kelce could not even connect. It was hard to watch. So we didn't see the fourth quarter at all. We were driving home, listened to it a little bit on the radio, and then I went to bed early and woke up, and I was actually happy to see that Kansas City put some numbers on the board. I at least had heard that they scored a touchdown, but I didn't expect them to get 22 points. So honestly, you guys, good job for coming back from that. And look, don't hate. I mean, again, I was talking about, you didn't hear me, but Snoop Dogg and Tom Brady, that anti-hate, anti-Semitism ad, a lot of people are criticizing today. I'd like to know what you think. The people at our party, they actually loved it because it was talking about, why do I hate you, or why do I hate this, and trying to eliminate the hate aspect. I'm a big aspect of that, of let's get more kindness out there. So I didn't mind that one. I want to know from the halftime show, from the national anthem, from obviously the performance on the field, and then the commercials that we're all talking about today. What was your favorite? What were the standout moments for you? I'm just going to recap what we all thought. So from the Super Bowl itself, did not expect that. Obviously wanted the Chiefs to win, but okay, we're done with talking about the game. Let's talk about who was cheered and who was booed. President Trump was shown on the Jumbotron to huge, thunderous applause. Okay, then they show Taylor Swift on the Jumbotron, and she was massively booed and gave this horrible side eye with her friends that she was with, and then she just kind of smiled and laughed it off. It was interesting to see people go to social media. I know Serena Williams went to X right away and said, pretty much her song, haters are going to hate, don't even paying attention to it. I was surprised by it because during the Chiefs season, she got a lot of cheers. Obviously, Travis Kelce's girlfriend. Didn't expect the massive booing. Also, who do you think showed up more? Was it the Philadelphia Eagles fans, or was it the Kansas City Chiefs fans? When we first saw the shot of the Caesars Dome, it looked like there was a sea of red everywhere, but I think it was just the way they were showing it, because the next time I saw it, it looked like a lot of green. Definitely from a sound standpoint, it was the Eagles fans that showed up massively. Okay, what do you think about the halftime show? Our crew at our party hated it. In fact, they said they thought it was the worst Super Bowl halftime performance ever. I don't know that I would say ever, but I will say I wasn't a fan. However, this is it. I'm not really a fan of that type of music. There was a little diss to Drake, not a little, but big time, from the song itself, but also from using a couple of Drake's exes. So Serena Williams and St. Louis and SZA both showing up in the performance, which I thought was interesting. But a lot of people are talking about more so about the hate, the song, by the way, Not Like Us. Again, with Kendrick Lamar. What did you think of it? Feel free to drop in what you thought. I wasn't a fan at all. What did you think about the national anthem? So that was Jon Batiste, by the way. It was very different. I think towards the end, I thought it was beautiful. In the beginning, kind of very, very soft sounding voice. Loved the piano, by the way. I will say that, but I don't know. The problem is we can look back 34 years when Whitney Houston first was blowing us away with her rendition of the national anthem. A couple of years ago, it was Chris Stapleton, and I read some stories saying that he probably will never sing. He's going to retire singing that song. Well, he should, because he did such an incredible job. They're actually putting Chris Stapleton and Whitney Houston kind of neck and neck as two performances. I got to say, I don't think anybody will ever beat the performance of Whitney Houston, but I think Jon Batiste did a good job, just not my cup of tea. Lauren Daigle, by the way, doing America the Beautiful with the trombone, that I absolutely love. Cool little, a different rendition of that, I will say. From a commercial standpoint, okay, I asked the crew before we left in the third quarter what their favorite was, and hands down, it was the Seal commercial, the Mountain Dew commercial. Some people are saying that it was very weird. Jason Momoa was in that as well. I thought it was hilarious. That was the one that made me laugh out loud, and so did the sloth commercial. Those, I would say, were my favorites, but there were many more. It was also nice to see St. Louis and John Hamm right before he was the one that got the Kansas City Chiefs fans all built up. I'm a huge Bradley Cooper fan, so Bradley got all the Eagles fans hyped up. I did not see the Brad Pitt promo, but I hear it was very patriotic. In fact, Talana, who was at our Super Bowl party, she said it actually made her tear up. Didn't see it, but I look forward to Googling that one today. Didn't see Tom Cruise hyping everything up beforehand. What did you think? This was, again, you try not to hate on people, but the crew at our house said that he looked tired, almost as if he had just woken up from a nap. I'm like, okay, that's kind of rude. But Tom Cruise, and then some other big celebrities. I saw Paul Rudd in the audience. He's also a Missourian. Saw Adam Sandler. So many more, obviously, as we mentioned. Celebrities come out galore, but that left a lot to be desired, the field performance. Congratulations, though, to the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, hurt our Chiefs for sure. Lifting up the Lombardi Trophy and being able to plan their parade. So congratulations to the Eagles, again, beating the Chiefs 40-22. Those are the big for us, the takeaway moments from the Super Bowl. I do want to throw in one more thing before we go to break. The penny evidently going away. That's what President Trump says. He has instructed the U.S. Treasury to stop minting the new pennies. He says it's so wasteful. In fact, just to make 1 penny, it costs 2 cents. So that's kind of silly. Do you still use coins, by the way? Do you still use cash? A lot of people have gone to Apple Pay or debits, credit cards. I do still like having cash on hand just in case something goes drastically wrong, right? And then you're like, okay, you can't take my money. You still need to have cash on hand. This new generation, they don't use a lot of cash. So I'm actually not surprised by the penny. We'll see what happens with the nickel and the dime and the quarter. It's going to happen all that. You might want to hang on to some of them. They could be worth a lot of money someday. All right, I'm going to look at some of your comments. Let's see. Kristen says, I wasn't impressed at all with the halftime show or the performances. I was concerned that Mahomes was going to get hurt because the team wasn't protecting him, in my opinion. Interesting. Well, yeah, my husband said definitely in the off season, they're going to have to look at all of that. The protection, I agree. In fact, in the third quarter, that's when I think when we left is when I really saw it almost as if he was like, forget it. I don't feel like anybody's playing. I'm going to take this whole game on myself. And so there was almost like a fire that was lit underneath him. Linda says the seal commercial, weird but good, but I still love, yes, thank you, the Clydesdale commercial and the baby foal and the barrel that fell off and then the foal taking that to them. Again, that was adorable. We had actually talked about that last week. Rose, they booed the Chiefs. Taylor is associated. No reason for that. I liked the marching bands. Oh, yeah, that was very different. Super Bowl year all way around. I love the marching band the best, Linda says, right? Okay. They should have played the halftime, she says. Worst halftime show, but I didn't really understand what he was saying. Okay, there were a lot of people texting saying this is when you know you're getting older because I think it's probably the other way around. If I interviewed a bunch of younger people, they may have actually liked that. Kendrick Lamar, very popular. I mean, at the Grammys, he just won some Grammys. So Julie, I like the seal commercial. Yep. We were also happy to see Kansas City score a little at the end, Jill says. Rose, my hubby said it wasn't a game at the very beginning, but I'm happy for the Eagles, but my family will always be Chiefs fans. Yeah, we kind of like took them on, right? Because they're from Missouri. Audra hosted a halftime party. A half party. Everyone had to leave after halftime. My 10 guests love the idea. Maybe we're all getting old. Exactly. We were cheering for the Eagles. That's right. Beckett wanted the Eagles to win. So congratulations, Beckett. But feeling bad for Mahomes. He seems like a good guy. He does, right? He seems like a wonderful guy. This is the first time I'm saying the commercials were the best thing about it all. No, not at all. In fact, I know a lot of people, that's what they say. They tune in for the Super Bowl, not for the game. Linda says this was not a Super Bowl game, but I did suffer through it all. All right, everybody. So feel free to continue to drop things in if you want. My 25-year-old loved the halftime. See, there it is. I told you. The 20-year-olds probably are saying, what are you talking about? William, might as well be using Monopoly money instead of the pennies. Let's see. The halftime show was not for the masses. I think you have to be a Kendrick Lamar fan and under 30 to appreciate it. I was not a fan of the halftime show, but everyone was clothed. So there's that. Yeah, we actually started talking about the Janet Jackson mishap, or was it, with Justin Timberlake in the past. Just kind of going back. That's what we ended up doing. We ended up getting bored with the game, and so we went into the past year. So here's to 60, right? I can't believe it. 60 Super Bowls. So we'll see who will be in that next year. But again, Chiefs, way to go. Incredible season, just not the best when it came to the big game. There's your recap, everybody, and I'm glad that we're back with you. Now I'm excited to transition. We're going to talk about Kentucky Derby. We're going to talk about type 1 diabetes. We are going to talk about charitable-minded people, all of those things. And we're going to put on some really beautiful hats. Hats by Dianne. She's a big fan of the show. Dianne Isbelle is here, and Shelly Coveyou. They are going to be on the blue couch when we return. We are live on location, and this is the really cool thing. This is exactly what we can do from your business. We call it Mobile Monica. You know, I'm always on the move. Everyone knows about Jody's balls, and why is that?
I have the best ball.
Oh my God. You enjoying this?
Always.
Watch this, I gotta move with her.
Orange Theory is created to help people live a more vibrant life.
When we tell you that they have some of the most beautiful sunsets, we mean it. We're now in the brainchild of Adventure Unknown. That thing
Well, he's got a
is
heck of a
beautiful.
story behind that leopard,
I
too.
know. It's going to be a very dangerous shoot right now.
It'll be
She says it
fabulous.
is. Monica or Mez Adams. How's that
Yes,
sound?
that sounds great.
This is Marianne Graff, owner of Just Be Kind Coffee House and Cafe. And you can see all the people in line. Oh, that handsome gentleman is... That would be my husband, Jim.
My mission statement says I want people to feel better leaving than when they came in.
And you do. Again, no calories when you're spreading kindness.
No calories when you're spreading kindness, especially if it's on the weekend.
And welcome back. Again, you're tuned into the Real Monica Adams Show. And if you're just tuning in, welcome. We are on multiple platforms, so do me a favor. You can start texting your friends and saying, hey, they're going to be talking about some really amazing things. Do you know someone that has type 1 diabetes? Well, today you need to be listening up. We've got a lot of information for you, and this is a show you'll want to share with them. We've also got a fundraiser coming up to raise money and give back to the awareness aspect of type 1 diabetes. We are on Facebook, YouTube, X, Instagram, Rumble, and LinkedIn. So find the platform that you want and then share, share, share. Like, share, and follow. Those are the words that we need. We mentioned going into the break that we were going to have our guest on the blue couch. Let's welcome in Dianne Isbelle and Shelly Coveyou. Thank you for coming in, ladies.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank
and you look beautiful.
Thank you for having us.
Look at all these hats. For those of you that don't know my friend Dianne, you need to know her, especially if you're going to a Kentucky Derby party, because her hats are the ones that you want to use. You have been involved in hat making for how many years?
About 20.
20 years. And she's talked in the past about how she got involved. Do you actually have a favorite? I don't know if I've ever asked you that. Do you have a favorite hat?
No, they're all favorites.
She makes one, she falls in love with it, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, now this is my favorite, this is my favorite. That one is stunning, by the way.
Yes, I love this.
I do love that. When did you make that?
I made this last year, and it was a winner at the Forest Park Forever Hat Luncheon.
Of course it was, and it looks beautiful with your dress.
Thank you, but butterflies are really in.
Butterflies are, they're always in, right?
Yes.
They're angels from
Yes,
heaven. That's what we think. And then look at Shelly's.
Got the rose.
Just
Got
made
the
that
rose.
to go with her dress.
And can we just
Love
say this?
roses.
You are so sweet. She is truly the queen of etiquette. She brought these in for me. You're such a doll. Thank you very, very much. They are beautiful. And yes, for roses, even though my friend Dot on Friday was like, oh, everybody's always apprehensive. Do you give a red rose? Because it's supposed to be love. So what? We love.
And it's the running of the roses.
Yes.
We're getting prepared for the Derby.
We
so.
are. Which again, you might be like, wait a minute, isn't that May? Yes, but there's a lot of things going into it before then. There's a couple of events that we're going to talk to you about today. Let's start off though. You two, how did you two meet?
Well, I went to Herbie's last year for the Derby party, and this lady came to me and she said, I have to talk to you because let's do a fundraiser for the junior diabetes ahead of the Derby for next year so that people have an opportunity to come buy your hats, because they're always asking me, where do I find a hat? Where do I find a hat? So we have collaborated with two other friends of mine, and we're having this party. A fundraiser for the junior diabetes on March 6th at Herbie's.
And if you haven't been to Herbie's, fabulous food, wonderful place. And thank you again, Herbie's, for hosting this. And then, of course, they have the big party itself coming up during the Derby. But this is all for you to lead up to that point. So, yes, I was reading your background, Shelly, and you were like, okay, hats. I'm going to start following this woman. And she followed her on social media, which we want you all, by the way, to do. Follow Dianne Isbelle and Hats by Dianne on all social channels. And you were like, okay, she's got the best hats around. I've got to team up with her, right?
Absolutely. It was constant asking, where do you get your hats? What are we supposed to wear? You know, and where do you go? Dianne.
Yeah, don't go online because
No.
I mean, again, this type of thing is, Dianne and I are both very big on touching the fabrics, right? And then
Yes.
trying on, not buying something online and then having to go, oh, this didn't work, and then send it back, right? So true people that are in the fashion industry are all about shopping local, first of all,
Yes.
supporting
Yes.
small business, and then just be there in person to try it on. Yes, she does make the most amazing hats ever,
Thank you.
and I'm sure that's what you heard from everybody of,
Absolutely.
holy cow.
Yeah, and then you just to go with your outfits.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes,
it's custom.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about something, by the way, and I know we're talking about women. Guys, we want you to pay attention too, though, because you need to find the right hat for your girl. But there is something that Dianne and I are going to talk about that has to do with guys, and ironic, because I hadn't heard of this. Jet. But as I'm driving over here, I hear it on KMOX, I hear it on
Oh, did you?
KZK. Yeah, I was like,
Good.
oh, now everybody's talking about that too. So we will talk about the guys here in just a second. You have organization, and it's
Yes.
tied into your son, All for One, One for Otto.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So our son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes about 2 years ago. And we have recently realized that the community needs help with finding a research, the research for the medical devices, as well as the families that are newly diagnosed. It is a very scary, scary situation to walk into, not knowing what's wrong with your child.
Yes.
His pancreas passed away and no longer made insulin. Suddenly, with no rhyme or reason, doesn't, go through the family. We knew nothing about it. So we decided to, after we got a grasp of everything and learned what our new life was, insulin shots, pricking his finger multiple times a day, counting carbs, activity. There's so much to go into it. But we decided to help out the community and start a not-for-profit called All for One and One for Otto. And we help with research for diabetes, of course, through the JDRF, which is now Breakthrough T1D, as well as we make care packages for the newly diagnosed at the
Things that they
hospital.
wouldn't think that they need.
Food scales, amount of measuring cups for everything, from stickers for your Dexcom, patches for your insulin pumps. I mean, there's so many things that we had no idea and that we've learned over the last 2 years that you just need.
When was Otto diagnosed?
November 2022.
Yeah, that would have been just over 2 years.
Just over 2 years. It was 2 days before Thanksgiving.
That's not thankful.
No, it wasn't. We spent in the hospital until Thanksgiving.
Again, if you're just tuning in and you're looking at Otto on the screen right now, Shelly Coveyou is with us, Dianne Isbelle, and we're going to talk about the raffle to win some of Dianne's wonderful hats and the proceeds, again, going to this awareness and this type of research. So it is T1D, used to be Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, right?
Yes,
JDRF.
the JDRF, and now it's Breakthrough T1D.
Yes.
They changed the name about a year ago, and it's even bigger and better.
Absolutely.
We love to support them.
So Shelly, for you and for Otto and for your family and your friends, when you get this news, it's all, okay, well, so what is this going to mean, right?
Now
and
what?
then how does my child have this, and how does our life change? One of the things that I wanted to make sure we talked about today is just how far the advancements are, right? So you think of someone, and you can go back decades ago, whether you're diagnosed with type 1 or you're type 2 diabetic, it's all of a sudden, okay, well, what's this lifestyle going to be like? And how are we going to be able to handle this? And how can we help our child? So don't you have the aspect of like being on, there's either an app or there's on your cell phone where you're able to actually watch his numbers.
Yes,
Which I think is amazing.
Wow. It came so far. I have no idea what they did prior to this, besides pricking their fingers multiple times a day, 15, 20 times a day just to receive blood. But now we have the Dexcom. They came out with the G7, which, all comes through research. And that's how we push through the diabetes is hopefully all the research that comes out. But the Dexcom G6, G7, you can go on an app on your phone. It's called a Follow app. And we have it for 10 family members and friends to help us keep track of him. Because sometimes he goes really, really low. Your range for your glucose number should be between 80 and 120. And for a type 1 diabetic, they can go to 30 and 40, which is super, super low, and they feel like they're going to pass out
Right.
or have a seizure. And then they can go super high, you know, in the 150s, 180s, 200, 300, 400. And that causes complications later on in life. That's where you lose your vision, you lose feeling to your legs and your arms. So it's a balance to keep them in between, and everything matters.
Oh, absolutely. Again, if you're just tuning in, Shelly Coveyou, Dianne Isbelle, we're talking about type 1 diabetes. It's interesting, Shelly and Dianne, when people hear the word diabetic, I swear it's always this association of, oh, they're eating sugars, oh, they're eating the wrong things, and no,
It's
right?
not.
No.
I thought the same.
Yep.
I thought the same because I was like, oh no, I did it to my child. But with all the research that I did, is his pancreas passed away. It's
Right.
quit working, making insulin. They don't know why our pancreases stop working and stop making insulin, or we would have the cure today. But the research keeps going, and they're pretty close.
You're looking at the 4 T's of type 1 diabetes: toilet, tired, thinner, thirsty.
Yes.
Are these all things that Otto's
Absolutely.
experienced?
Yep. That's how we figured out. I had the gut feeling in my stomach that there was just something wrong.
Right.
And he was chugging water at night. He lost a bunch of weight, which I could justify for. He's on soccer teams. He's a very active kid. You know, he lost his COVID weight. That's what everyone kept on saying. As well as he was taking naps, and he's not a napper. He was 10 years old, you know. So
These are all the warning signs, again, to be looking at. But very easy to dismiss. Oh, okay, it's nothing. And then you go in and then you get this, excuse me, my child has what? Symptoms, by the way, of type 1 diabetes in adults and in children. You know, you don't want it to happen to anyone. But when we're talking about a young child, think about that. Kids want to be kids.
Yes.
Right? They don't want to count carbs. They don't even know what a carb is.
Exactly. It is a lot to put on a family member, the caretakers, but you do it best for them. And I teach Otto every step of the way, what I'm doing, what's next. This is what we're going to do. This is the path that we're on. And he has learned so much. I could not be more proud of him.
I was just going to say, you have to be, right? I mean, this is not something that a child wants to take on.
No.
If you're just tuning in and you're wondering, well, what's up with all the hats? You're talking about diabetes. We were talking, though, about bringing awareness and raising money. Dianne, you are donating a couple of your creations.
Yes, I am. And, you know, I think at my age and the things that I do, I want to give back to the people who need help. And the diabetes people, definitely Otto needs some help, and all the other children who have that. So what a better way. We're going to have this party. We're going to have a fashion show. You can bring your outfit, and I'll custom make, or you can buy right off of there. It's only $30. We have valet parking. Herbie has been so kind to donate his space. It's just going to be a wonderful evening, and you get a drink ticket, and we're going to have music, and we'll party and have hats and raffle off some hats so that to get some money for the JDRF.
And you're looking at all the information again on the screen. We just had that QR code if you wanted to purchase directly from that. The date and the time again is on Thursday, March 6th. And you are not only giving proceeds from the hat of the raffle, but obviously also fundraising from the aspect of your ticket sales as well.
That's right, definitely. Yes.
So thank you for teaming up, because, you know, when we think about donating and people are like, oh, okay, I'll give a donation, but then you want to tie in something fun. Oh, I want to go to that. Oh, and I'm giving back. It's a win-win.
Yes, bring your girlfriends. And I want to thank Corey Stancic and Deb Brennan, my 2 friends who are co-hosting with us. They can't be here today, but, you know, it takes a team, right?
A village.
Family,
It's
village.
absolutely.
And we're going to make it happen. It's going to be a great party.
And this is the first time ever tying in the fashion component of it, a fashion fundraiser for this, right?
Yes, with the Kentucky Derby fundraiser.
Yes.
Yep.
And then I mentioned earlier, Herbie's has a big Kentucky Derby party coming in May.
Yes, on the 3rd.
Yes. So there's two opportunities for you to enjoy your time with the Kentucky Derby, but this is all getting ready beforehand in just a couple of weeks. So mark it on the calendar, March 6th, again at Herbie's. If you've never been, wonderful place to gather. You expecting a sellout?
Oh, definitely.
I hope
Yes,
so.
we are.
It will be a great time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to talk more about T1D, the benefit aspect of it, the awareness aspect of it, and also a camp that I want Shelly to tell us about. Shelly Coveyou, Dianne Isbelle, Monica Adams, and we'll be right back.
Thank you so much for having me on your show. You are such a gift to the world. Your program is so needed in today's, really in the messages that people need today. So thank you. Thank you for having your faith. So again, thank you so much. I am looking forward to seeing it. I'm looking forward to watching your show much more. So I appreciate you so much. And may God bless you beyond measure.
And welcome back to the Real Monica Adams Show. We are at Adventure Unknown, by the way, if you were wondering. Yes, here's the really cool thing of why we moved from Richmond Heights. There are so many different places here that we can use as secondary or third or fourth sets beyond the main one. Don't worry. You will see a main set debuted in the coming weeks. We are working behind the scenes and we'll show you little bits and pieces of that as we get it ready. It is going to look stunning. It is going to wow you. In fact, I want to thank my team behind the scenes, from Brian and another Brian and Tina and Jim and Michelle and Zach and everybody that's worked to get us ready for our next studio. But I have to thank you, because if you didn't tune in every day, we wouldn't be growing like this. So some exciting things to come, by the way, in 2025. And one of those has to do with all these beautiful hats. So I'm going to put this one, I'm going to match the ladies. Okay, so this is the way,
Oh,
Dianne,
yes.
is this right?
Yes.
Okay.
Looks amazing.
Okay, everyone, what do you think? This
Yay,
is one
I
of
love
the
it.
many creations of hats by Dianne, who truly is one of the most talented and creative when it comes to hat making. She's been doing it for a long, long time, 2 decades, getting you ready. So if you're going to go to a Kentucky Derby party, you want one of her creations, trust me. She is raffling off 2 of her creations at the big event on March 6th, which will be at Herbie's. And you're taking a look at just some of her beautiful creations. Trust me, there's no one better. And you, by the way, have made hats for some of the elite. Lady Gaga.
Yes.
You want to name others? Dianne first.
Well, Betsy Johnson and Steve Madden last year,
Yes.
and Diane von Furstenberg, Carly Kloss, a few. But you know, every customer is the customer that I want to please and make happy. I don't care what they do or where they're going. I just
Sure.
want them to put that hat on, our fascinator, and feel totally beautiful.
Absolutely. And I remember, and I don't know if they ever used them, but I remember last year you were making hats, because the Today Show always does this big, getting ready for
Yes.
the Derby. Did they ever wear your hats
No,
on
they
it?
didn't wear them.
Ladies.
I know they got them, but you know, what can you do?
So Hoda didn't really retire. She got fired for not wearing Diane's Just kidding. Just kidding.
She'll learn.
You need one, Hoda, by the way. So I know you've made, and then you also made some from a presidential standpoint?
Yes, from President Bush's family. They used to live right here in St. Louis.
They
And
did?
Yes.
I didn't
well,
know that.
his brother did. Yes. Bush. And they were going to a wedding in Spain, a family wedding, and she called me. A friend of a friend recommended me, and the next thing you know, and I didn't even know who she was until I got to her house. It's like, well, I don't know. I don't pay attention because I focus on that person, what they're wearing,
Yes.
and what I'm going to design for them. But lovely lady.
Oh, that's a good point, by the way. So at this March 6th event, people get a chance to talk with you, and you have enough lead time to get ready for the
Yes.
Derby.
Yes.
You recommend that if they know already, if they're that organized, to bring in the outfit that they're going to wear?
Yes, our outfits, you know, there are 3 big races, Thursday night,
Yes.
Friday night, and Saturday, and some wear something different for each one. So if you have your dress, it's time to bring it now, because otherwise, you know, I've had them pick them up on the way to Louisville the morning of.
Oh my, don't stress her out. This is one of the hardest working women ever. And I tell you what, you talked about how you love a party. She does. This woman can party. You remind me so much of my mother. It's like, just go, go, go. She will outlast us. And she's doing all of her setup,
Love your mother, too.
So if someone wants one of your creations for the Derby, as I just mentioned, try not to stress her out. Ideally, when would be the cutoff of coming to you to have one made?
Well, I'd like to say 2 weeks before, but sometimes it's the night before, or
No.
2 nights before. Some of my friends. Well, I've had people who, they pick out like 15 dresses and then they can't decide which one they're going to wear.
Of course.
So it's like, bring me the 3 that you're really going to wear. Because every time you show me a dress or bring me a dress, my mind starts right then thinking about what I'm going to create.
Right.
And so I don't like to change my mind about 20 million times.
Well, and I have to thank my clients, by the way, that I personal train, because my Christmas gift this year was a creation, by the way, by Dianne. So I will be getting with you, but early.
Yes.
I don't know what I want to wear yet. She's made me a beautiful cobalt blue one in the past. Obviously, I love blue, but a gorgeous peach one last year, kind of a, it's kind of a rose peach.
Yes.
And it had butterflies on it.
Butterflies on, yes. Well, the one I won with last year had this big bumblebee on it.
Yes, I remember that.
A rotating bumblebee made out of paper mache, because I'm always finding things and I think I could use that on a hat. So I have lots of things at home that I could use.
We all love a good party, right? So again, March 6th, I want you to go to the first ever fashion fundraiser that is giving back to the research and the awareness of type 1 diabetes. So going into the break, Shelly, I mentioned that there is a camp you were telling me about. Tell us more about that.
So it's Camp EDI. Everyone at the camp has type 1 diabetes. The campers, the leaders. How we got intertwined with it is our endocrinologist, Otto's type 1 diabetes doctor, helps put it on, and there is 7 endocrinologists there the entire week to make sure these kids are doing great, living their best life, being at a normal camp, doing their normal things, but still taken care of.
Well, and one of the things that I love that you told me was that think about a child and whatever age they're diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. It's so foreign to them. It's foreign to the families and the friends, and then all the kindness comes together of what can we do for you? How do we get educated about it? There, they all feel the commonality because it's, oh, you've got this? Right? They don't feel ostracized. They don't feel like, hey, I'm going to sit over here in the corner and those kids are over there eating candy and playing and doing whatever they want. This is all like-minded individuals who are all brought together because of the unfortunate side of something they have, but then you can see the kindness and the laughter.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So when you're type 1 diabetic, sometimes you have Dexcoms and insulin pumps on you. And you get out of range, you start beeping. You get making noises with your phone or your device on you. And a lot of the kids don't want to be standing out with the beeps and the noises. But everyone there beeps. Everyone there has a noise. They might be different beeps, but they're beeping. So it's a great way to feel normal.
And where is it held?
So it's EDI camp. It's down at the YMCA Trout Lodge.
Oh, in Potosi.
Yes.
What a great place.
Yep. And you can go online and EDI. They just started open their registration for camp. It is quite a significant amount of money. They supply the insulin, they supply the medical devices, and there's doctors there 24/7 making sure your kid is okay. I believe it's age 7 or 6 all the way up to 17.
Oh wow.
So and then after that you can become a camp counselor, which is amazing.
To continue to give back.
To continue to make those friends. The biggest thing that I like for the kids to take away from them, they meet lifelong friends, that are just like them, or they can call each other, or text each other, or write each other, to say, hey, how's it going? And they'll continuously go back to camp and see their friends.
How many years have they been holding this?
Oh, many years.
Many, okay.
Many. I'd say
And how
20
many
or
years
30.
has Otto gone?
Yep, Otto, this will be his second year
Okay.
going.
I love it.
Absolutely. He enjoys it.
So again, registration already underway.
Yes.
And what an amazing camp. But this is also the reason why we're talking about the need for donations and
Yep.
fundraisers. When you're, what is the cost for the camp?
About $3,000 to $4,000
Wow.
for one kid for 1 week. So they really do rely on donations.
Yes.
That's a very significant number when your kid has a medical issue that takes up a lot of money.
Well, and they hear about their friends going to camp, and they're like,
Yes.
well, I can't just go to a regular camp. They want to be a normal kid.
It is, and it's hard to go to a regular camp overnight.
Yep.
When you have type 1 diabetes, there has to be the medical staff. Our child got the opportunity to go to a camp with 5th grade, but I trained that nurse on everything she needed to know, and she called me frequently just to double check and make sure, because it's a 24-hour, 7 days a week disease.
Absolutely.
That manages, 3 o'clock in the morning or at noon.
Yeah, it doesn't know time.
Doesn't know a time, not at all.
So being able to let go, being able to say, right, how difficult is that?
That was very difficult. I would say probably one of the hardest things that I've ever done in my life. But the EDI camp is amazing. They do turn off your follow app, so I can't see the numbers.
That's scary.
But it's very scary. But they reassure you that they got everything under control. Yeah. But it was a very relaxing, stressful, but very relaxing week.
Balancing.
It was a very good balance. I slept really good.
Oh, awesome.
It's kind of like having a newborn baby. It's hours up throughout the night. And sometimes you just have to stand there and make sure that the numbers are moving and things like that. But I did sleep that week.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And what are the dates of it?
So this year, it is May 31st to June 6th. They're having a little early, but get your kids registered, get your kids in there. It is by far the best thing. They also look for donations. You can donate right to the EDI camp or donate to All for One and One for Otto. And we supply, or we help kids get into camp.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's great.
And again, if you're just tuning in and you didn't hear earlier, there's also these wonderful baskets that they put together that they've been doing, and things that when it's the last thing that you want to be thinking about is gathering all these things that you wouldn't think that you need. They take care of that for you. Again, you're seeing on the screen, by the way, where you can follow All for One and One for Otto from a social standpoint, and also the website, allforone.oneforotto.com. There he is, so adorable. Otto, I wish you weren't going through this, but I'm so glad that there's advancements in medicine, and that's the thing. I mean, I can think back in the beginning years of my career, we're talking about 32 years ago. Absolutely, we were nowhere near what we are now, and how scary it always is when you find out your child has any type of illness. But you do love to look at the medical world, and it's just fascinating to say, look how far we've come.
Absolutely.
And look how far we can go because of donations.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. Again, why are we wearing the hats? Well, again, I know so many of you tune in every second. It's because of the fundraiser. These ladies that are teaming up together, and all of you, we're looking for a sellout for the 2025 Derby hat, again, Hats by Dianne, the fashion fundraiser aspect that's being put on, the Derby hat launch, and it is March 6th. There you go. There's a QR code for you right on the screen if you want to buy your tickets, and you will get a drink, but then there's a cash bar and
food. They have great food and a fashion show.
You've got how many volunteers that are going to be modeling?
12.
12. Okay. I mentioned early on that I don't want to leave the guys out, so I'm going to get to the guys in just a second. Julie Fabian said, my stepdaughter and 9-year-old granddaughter have it. Linda said, my great niece was diagnosed at age 5 with type 1.
Oh my.
She turns 16 on March 5th. Those first few years were really tough, but finally has it under control. The app has been a godsend. Yeah, the only reason I knew about that is I interviewed somebody a while back, and they had told me, Monica, it actually made my life so much easier.
Absolutely.
So I can see that and go, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, he's looking low, or she's looking low, and we got to make sure that they're taken care of. Lisa says, I love Dianne. Gorgeous. Yes, she is, right? Audra, love Dianne. Amazing woman. And most beautiful hats in the world. It will be a lovely event. Looking forward to it. One of my very good friends has identical twin boys. One was diagnosed with type 1. They are in college now. I'll be sure to invite her. Monica, you look fabulous in the hat. Well, thank you, Audra. I appreciate that. And Audra, of course, has been on with Dianne in the past. So this is definitely a show that we want you to spread the awareness about, spread the word, and let everybody know, wow, there is these advancements that are out there. And if, let's say that you are just finding out that your kid has it.
Yes.
So we'll talk about what went through your mind and your family's mind on that very first day of being told. What went through that?
That I did this. And not knowing anything of type 1 diabetes.
Yeah.
I just
So you blamed yourself.
Yep, absolutely. I blamed myself for probably a good week.
Is there anybody else in your family that has type 1?
No.
Oh, wow.
No, this was a total shocker to us. There was no type 1 in our family. I didn't even know what type 1 was.
Yeah.
I just knew diabetes.
Right.
You know, poorly eating,
Yes.
healthy, your health and things like that. I had no idea necessarily what a pancreas did or what it was for.
Yeah.
But knowing that his was not working anymore.
And so you go quickly from, I'm blaming myself, I can't sit in this, I can't wallow in this, what am I going to do for my kid?
Yep, and I just started researching.
Yeah.
The most that I have gotten out of type 1 diabetes is the podcast called Juicebox.
Juicebox.
Yes, it is a father that raises his daughter with type 1 diabetes. She's in her 20s now, but she got it when she was 2 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And I have learned so much off of that podcast. It's crazy.
Juicebox.
The Juicebox
Is it an
podcast.
audio?
It is an audio.
Audio, okay.
It is
So
an audio.
find that on wherever you listen to your audio podcast,
Yep.
Juicebox.
And the reason why it's called juice box is because juice boxes save our kids' lives.
Yeah.
They take a 15-gram juice box and it saves them from a seizure. It saves them for double arrows down on that Dexcom. Every T1D caretaker has a juice box.
Again, when we talk about in life needing to be prepared and organized, think about the level that this family and all the families that have children that are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, or if you have type 2, just diabetes in general, how prepared and organized you have to be. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and before we wrap up, I want you to talk about Gent.
Gent.
Right? So we are going to bring the guys into this.
Yes.
And some things that she's making for that as well. So don't go anywhere. We'll have more with Shelly and Dianne when we return. This is my wonderful role model, one of my best friends.
She said, oh my gosh, you got a long life. You could probably live to be 130 or something. And I said, oh God, I hope not.
It's getting hot in here. Don't take off all your clothes.
I'm not going to take off my clothes. On the radio tape, going to
Kansas City, Kansas City, here I come. We're gonna spank. We're gonna speak. We're not gonna spank anybody. We're gonna speak about knowing your value, and then I'm gonna.
I'm going to spank them.
If you don't know your value and you don't grab hold of how important you are, I'm gonna spank you. Folks, you never know what you're gonna get with her. Isn't this fabulous? Don't you need a hat like this? Yes, you do. Again, we're going to talk all about it. If you're just tuning in here in the final minutes of the show, you definitely have to go back and find out what this is all about here as we have been talking about the Derby, the Kentucky Derby coming up in May, but it's what's happening in March to get ready for that and to give back and bring awareness to type 1 diabetes. It's going to be fabulous at Herbie's again on March 6th. But it's not all about the women and the gorgeous hats. We're also going to talk about the guys. So tell me about Gent, Dianne.
Well, Gent was established by a young man named Dwight Carter, who is working with the Siteman Cancer Center and men who have had prostate cancer or have survived, or all the testing that, you know, it's very costly. And so Dwight has put on this event. It's going to be at the soccer field in St. Louis, the new soccer field. We're having a big fashion show and a blue jacket event. There are some name brand designers like Polly Gibson and some others, but there are also 12 of us who are taking a jacket, a blue jacket. We may be embellishing it, tearing it apart, or starting from scratch, but I made a hat to go with the blue jacket that I have in this show, and that's going to be next Sunday, the 16th, at the soccer field. And tickets are on sale now, and I urge you to try to come to that, to support it. All of the funds that they make will go to Siteman Cancer Center for prostate cancer research.
We need to take care of our men. We talk about taking care of women, taking care of men. Prostate cancer awareness, again, know your numbers. Get checked, gentlemen. So there's going to be a ton of things. I heard many, many people involved in this, by the way. Has Gent taken place in the past?
Last year it did, yes.
So this is the second year?
Yes, and we're curating it from the Fashion Group International for that part of it, for the 12 people that are working on these jackets, but there are other designers. It is a fantastic show. So I urge all of you to please try to get your tickets and come to that.
And we just had that up on the screen, by the way. So if you're looking, so there's a couple things here that we want you to purchase your tickets for. You can do this one for next weekend, and then for March 6th, again, for the Herbie's Fashion Fundraiser as well. You mentioned the soccer field. Are you talking about down where City
Yes,
plays?
the brand new soccer field. It's upstairs. I mean, all the fashion, it just goes on forever. It's just, they have about 350 people there last year. Dwight does a tremendous job
Have you
at
been
putting this
to that-
together.
To that event, no. but she
Okay.
was
Have
telling
you
me
been
all
to the
about
soccer
it.
stadium?
Absolutely.
It is the most beautiful stadium. We have, I've said this so many times on the show, we have got to be so proud. Whoever was in the design aspect of that.
Yes.
It is one of the most beautiful stadiums you can ever go to. So if you haven't been to a game yet, they're right around the corner, by the way. My husband and I were talking about it last night. I'm like, all right, well, the NFL's wrapping up. Now we can talk about soccer and Blues hockey. And we got a big Billikens game coming up, by the way, as well. So yes, there's more sports. But if you haven't been to the new St. Louis City SC Stadium, it is, what's it going to be called? Energizer. I think they changed it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so you'll be seeing a bunch of Energizer from that. Okay, we're talking about kids, so I'm going to have Zach get this video ready because this is from a friend of ours who we work with here at Adventure Unknown. I saw this the other day and I said, can I please show this? So when we're talking about taking care of our kiddos and how much we love them, I want this video to go viral. When you talk about an old soul, this is an old soul.
Let me sing forevermore. You are all I want, for all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I do.
2018, so he's going to turn 10 on March 12th. But when we talk about old souls, Beckett is an old soul, by the way. I understand from his parents, Jill and Marty, that he is regularly listening to Frank Sinatra music. And then you've got this, right? So a crooner at a very, very young age. So love him. And thank you, Corey, by the way, for letting us showcase your son. Let's make that go viral. He's very talented and he's just absolutely adorable. Before we talk about our big event coming up on Thursday, and I know if you watched the beginning of the show that we were talking about snow, I do not want this to deter you. I am trusting our street departments, MoDOT, IDOT, to do an amazing job and to get the snow, and hopefully we don't have ice, get the snow out of the way so that you can safely come to our Galentine's event. So it will be held this coming Thursday. There it is on the screen, and I've been talking about it for the last several weeks. Galentine's will be at Stonehouse of St. Charles. This is the Galentine's event to be at. We're going to be doing music bingo. I know there's at least 3 rounds of this, and that is evidently all the rage right now. Music bingo, and truly, it's crazy, these women that are getting together playing this. You're going to get with this 2 signature cocktails. That's the other thing that everybody's talking about, are all these themed cocktail boards. They're going to bring those to your table. Themed charcuterie, and then music bingo, prizes to be given away. I want you to get there early, though. You're seeing that it starts at 6 o'clock. 5 p.m. is our broadcast. If you come early, maybe we'll put you on the show. And if you love to shop like we do, there are going to be a ton of vendors. And in fact, Dianne would probably like Diamond G hats because they're some of the most beautiful Western hats I've ever seen.
Yes, they are.
So they will be there. There's going to be permanent jewelry, which is also very popular. There's going to be a photo booth and so much more. So come early and we're going to have a great time together. Don't let the snow deter you. I know over 100+ tickets have already been sold for this, but I think we actually could, if you want to, we could put 400 people, I think, in the big hall. They did sell out the Valentine's tickets. So the 14th and 15th, I believe the 15th as well, is sold out. Abby Stahlschmidt will be playing music. It'll be a true experience on Valentine's night. So it's going to be a lot of fun. But I want to see you on Galentine's night. Again, this coming Thursday, Stonehouse of St. Charles, which I have never been to. Ladies, have you ever been there?
I haven't.
I hear it's stunning.
It's gorgeous.
You've been?
Yep.
The old Stonehouse,
Sounds
200 plus years old.
Yes.
So that's the other thing is Ruth, who owns as well. So we're going to be there. We're going to have a great time together and come early, not only for the broadcast, but maybe to take a tour because Shelly just mentioned how beautiful it is. So we are very appreciative, Ruth, for you hosting us. Some exciting Mobile Monicas coming up. We also secured, I mentioned on Friday, Viviano's during our 500th celebration, which is coming up the week of March 3rd. Our actual 500th show will be on March 4th. So we're looking at doing Mobile Monicas that entire week. I want to get out with the community and to thank each and every one of you in areas far and wide to say, can you believe we've done 500 shows in less than 2 years? So this one is March 6th. This is going to be at Viviano's in Fenton. It's not just Viviano's, it's Viviano's and Chef Mel, the spaghetti sauces. And she has a sweet Sicilian, she's got a spicy one. We're gonna talk about all of them. We're actually gonna hear from them next week. They are going to be with us telling us the backstory. How did they ever get into the business? I always like those human interest stories. So we'll be talking with Michael Viviano and then we'll be talking with Chef Mel. So tune in for that next week. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Let me tell you about tomorrow. Last week, we talked about spirituality and which generation considers themselves to be most spiritual. I also talked about faith, and then I said, do you think this can happen between religion and spirituality? I actually showed you a really cool image that had them intertwining. My belief is yes. Tomorrow, I'm going to talk with a pastor, David Hawkins, who is from a church in Collinsville, Illinois. You want to talk about a passionate person? This man is going to light you up. I had a chance to see him as a guest pastor at the Crossing in Chesterfield several months ago, and I just sat there going, I want to go to his church. I want to go to his church so bad because you can see the passion and feel it and hear the passion in him. So that is going to be tomorrow. Pastor David Hawkins will be on with us. So some exciting things to come, other great shows on tap as well, but just wanted to sprinkle a few in for you. Let me thank our ladies again, Dianne Isbelle and Shelly Coveyou. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for providing all of these beautiful hats for our set. And don't forget about all the events that we've been telling you about. To support type 1 diabetes, go to All for One and One for Otto. And Shelly, tell Otto to just keep that spirit inside of him because he sounds like a wonderful child.
He is. Keep fighting the good fight.
Right? Absolutely. And then follow these ladies as well on social media. Look for All for One and One for Otto. Go to that website as well. And then get your tickets for the events that we've been talking about. The big fashion fundraiser at Herbie's on March 6th. And then also Gent, which will be held down at the St. Louis City SC Energizer Stadium. It's coming up on Sunday.
The 16th.
There you go. On the 16th. It's going to be a lot of fun. Everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. Share, like, follow our pages, and wake up to this type of inspiration and wonderful stories about great human beings. We'll see you tomorrow when we talk more in depth about spirituality and again which generation says they're most spiritual. We'll break it all down for you, but before we talk about any of that, we're going to talk about the importance of kindness. Be kind and God bless you all.